Sri Lanka is voting for its next president on 21st September, and today's topic is going to be on Sri Lankan Tamils and the presidential election and whether it is a struggle for identity and hope for the minorities. Sri Lanka stands at a significant political crossroads as Tamils in the north as well as in the east approach their fourth presidential elections post the demise of the LTTE in 2009. This election is more than just a contest of candidates. Symbolizes the enduring struggle, struggles of Sri Lankan Tamils even today to reclaim their identity and political rights. They don't have a lot of political rights in the country, despite the defeat of the LTTE and the unification of the island. Geographically speaking, the mental and social divides between the Sinhalese and the Tamil communities still remain deep. That's the fact of the matter here. So Jaffna, which was once a ghost city, has seen a lot of transformation when it comes to businesses opening shops, new restaurants, and a lot of a bustling nature to the city now compared to during the LTT days. But there has been a lot of transformation there. But its residents, they are still cautious. There's a lot of history that they've still not forgotten, a lot of wounds that have not still healed, right? So that still remains in the backdrop of these elections. Um, if you look at the divided Tamil vote, which is what today's topic is mostly going to be about, it's that in the past, Sri Lankan Tamils, especially, they voted as a bloc to maintain their bargaining power, like any other set of minority groups, that vote in these kind of democratic elections, and I mean, we have instances of that in India as well. But this election is kind of different in the sense that it reveals deeper divisions. Some Tamil political parties support, they have their own Tamil candidate. So they are looking to posture him as their choice. His name is P. Ariyanethan. And this is like kind of a symbolic statement that they like to make. While others are, other choices are majorly Sinhalese candidates, and many a large percentage of Tamils are also divided over backing one of these Sinhalese candidates who let's take it, they have the real chance of winning. It's not going to be Ariyanethan. Some of the Tamil political parties there, like Tamil National Alliance, known as TNA, and Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi, which is ITAK, they are fragmented, often taking conflicting positions. So that's what we understand from the ground center. When we talk about the key candidates for this presidential elections, there are majorly four of them. We of course have Ranil Wickremesinghe, and then we have Sajith Premadasa, and then you have Anura Kumara Dissanayake, and of course one of the Rajapakses, the youngest, who's looking to make a mark. Probably make a mark is a good word, because I don't think many expect him to win here, but it's Namal Rajapaksa. And to be honest, all four of them have been making visits to Jaffna in order to seek the votes of Tamils there. However, for many Tamils, this is seen as a hollow exercise or a hollow gesture, with promises made in Jaffna often forgotten once the candidates return to Colombo. That's been the nature, historically speaking, right? And also historically speaking, Tamils have mostly opposed anyone from the Rajapaksa family for obvious reasons. Holding them responsible for before and after the civil war in terms of the hardships the community had to undergo. So this time, like I said, Naval is not going to be dominating the ballot boxes, but there are other Sinhalese options for the Tamils to choose from. No Sinhalese candidate has ever been very transparent or forthcoming to accept that the Tamils have been denied their rightful share in the nation. This is obvious because you would obviously fear a backlash from the Sinhalese community. So no one will say that out in open. But I think it was a very rare occurrence in the late 90s, early 2000s when Chandrika Kumaratunga, she was seen as an exception in this case because speaking to a reporter once, she had said that it would have been politically fatal for me, but she did say that Tamils had been treated badly and their rights, they were not given the right share of the political rights that they ought to have, right? So that was a very rare instance. So if you look at the dilemma of identity and pragmatism, right, I think that's one of the core features of this election is that the Tamil community faces a classic catch-22 kind of a situation, right? So the many younger Tamil voters that I've been speaking to would be like voting for the first time. They don't have a lot of personal experiences when it comes to the eelam war, the eelam cause. Uh, of course, there are a lot of hearsays that they carry within themselves, but there's no like personal experience of that sort, right? So they express a desire to support their own candidate, as a symbol of their community's struggles and aspirations. However, older generations obviously remember a lot, and they worry that if these young voters are going to choose, which they have every right to in a democracy, but if they are going to choose their Tamil candidate as against to choosing one of the popular Sinhalese candidates, this will result in the loss of the political bargaining power that these Tamil minorities have or may have, and they fear that the older generation fear that this could leave them further marginalized in a Sinhalese majority electoral landscape. So though that's one of the concerns and the dilemma that's facing these voters, especially the elder generation. In terms of what I've been hearing, voices from the ground is that, especially in Jaffna, it's kind of mixed. There are concerns that voting for a Tamil candidate could be a dangerous move, like I just said. Uh, they also feel that aside from this alienating them further, it could also create an internal divide amongst the Tamil community if you're choosing one candidate over the other, so that's also a bit of a concern. And they believe that strategically they should vote for either Ranil or Sajith Premadasa to prevent the rise of Anura Kumara Dissanayake, who is considered more of a radical Sinhalese candidate. So you also have those kind of equations that if the Tamils don't vote for Sajith or Ranil in a wholesome manner, it could benefit Anura Dissanayake, and this could result in further marginalization of the Tamil voices in national politics. So that's another angle as well. And of course, you have this perennial request for a boycott. You have the Tamil National People's Front, TNPF, led by Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam, who has called for a boycott to this election, arguing that participating in a system that marginalizes the rights of the Tamils legitimates the racist structure of Sri Lanka. I think that's the point being made, and that's usually the point being made by parties like TNPF in order to justify their call to boycott the elections. And of course, this is not the first time. So TNA, for example, called for one in 2005. The TNPF stance is that Tamil votes should not be taken for granted, especially when the Sinhalese candidates do not show any inclination to addressing the political demands of the Tamils. That's basically the point Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam is making, in the sense that he points out that Sinhalese candidates, they promise a lot of things, especially surrounding the 13th Amendment, which is a major talking point, but all their promises are mere empty gestures is what he said in the recent press conferences. He also argues that the Tamil people's rejection in the presidential election so as a powerful statement, uh, which questions the legitimacy of Sri Lankan state. That's another viewpoint that's running as well. In terms of let's talk about the candidacy of P. Ariyanethan, who is the Tamil common candidate, right? So even many Tamils call that as a symbolic candidacy, perhaps expressing the frustrations of the Tamil community it's because many people also see it as a political suicide for the reasons that we've just gone through, right? Because if you're not going to be a pragmatic negotiations with the Sinhalese leadership, the Tamil community, is going to face risks of further being isolated, and their political power and the bargaining power rather could be weakened by having their own candidate in this presidential elections. So that's one of the major points as well. It also talks about the fragmented Tamil polity, right? Because the parties are divided on whether to support a Tamil or a Sinhalese candidate. So that there's no consensus there. The TNA was once a very dominant Tamil political party. It's like crumbled over the years, and it also has a lot of factions within itself and outside of it, and they also do not have consensus in terms of what their choice of presidential candidate is going to be. The ITAK is also another political party which is supporting Sajid Premadasa this time around, and even they acknowledge that none of the leading candidates fully address the Tamil demands, but they just find Sajid Premadasa's promises a tad more satisfactory than the other candidates. So yeah, you've got to choose the best of the lot, right? So I think that's the consensus with ITAK. There's basically no consensus on which candidate to choose from. So that's also there's that confusion remaining as well. So in out of all this, if you were to look at the conclusion, this is definitely a critical juncture for Sri Lankan democracy on a whole, right? So leaving aside the concerns of the Tamil community, but even for the country, the island nation of Sri Lanka, this election is a very important election. This, especially since what they've been through over the last few years with the Rajapaksas and then Ranil steadying the ship and all of that, right? So that in itself, offers so much to the context of this elections. And aside from that, you have a sub-context here with regards to the Tamil polity, where there are a lot of issues that needs to be resolved, and they have to depend on one or the other Sinhalese candidates to get that well-deserved bargaining power to improve their societal standards, to have a better political rights in the country of Sri Lanka. So I think the divisions within the Tamil community, the disillusionment, the differing strategies to address their grievances highlight the complexity of their struggle for identity, representation, and the political rights in the post-war Sri Lanka. So this election is not just about choosing a candidate, a president. It's also about defining the political voice and future of the Tamil community in a nation still grappling with its fractured past. Let me know what you feel about this, and if you have any other insights to share. That's it for now.